Hey dreamers. I am actually just kind of walking around my neighborhood because, I needed to get outside and I was tired of staring at the computer screen, and so I thought now's a great time to hop on live and see if anybody is around and if this is a good time to do that. So today I want to talk about how to build your business in just a few hours per week, because I know that a lot of you guys are busy. You either have a day job or you're working on some other things. Maybe you've got a business already and you're trying to build up this like passive income thing, but you don't have a lot of time to dedicate to that because you already have a lot of like clients and stuff. And so I think there are some key things in our lives, or you've got families at home, right? Like you literally only have like nap time, and that is it with your kiddos. And so I wanted to pop on to talk a little bit about how I built a business that's big enough to leave my 9-to-5 and another business after that, while also still being in my 9-to-5. When I tell people that, they think I'm crazy that I had two businesses plus a full-time job. And honestly, I probably was a little crazy. Okay, I'm gonna get away from all the dogs. Get away from all the dogs there. I probably was a little crazy, but it's one of those things like when you feel called, you want to put your all in it. And so if you only have a handful of hours per week, because I guarantee your job and your family aren't the only things on your plate, right? Like you've got a marriage or relationships and friendships or volunteer and church obligations. Like these are all things that you have in your life, and that can be a struggle. So when you're doing that, there are three big things that really, really help me when I was building my businesses on the side of my full-time job. First is that you have to commit. And I talked about that in my post today. Commitment is probably the number one thing. It doesn't matter if you have all the time in the world, if this was the only thing you did, if you didn't commit to it. That's just the plain and simple truth. If you don't commit, it doesn't matter. So you really have to take everything and really decide that this is going to be something that you do, that this is going to be your thing, and commit to it. Block out time, because I guarantee you probably have more time than you think. I, for example, when I really committed, cut out a couple of volunteer things that I didn't really feel super called to and needed to just kind of like clear out some of that time and mental space. So I did that. I cleared that out and gave myself those 2 or 3 hours per week. I also would use Saturday mornings. When my husband sleeps later than I do, so I had 2 hours in the morning to work before we did anything, and he also has a hobby, so I let him do his hobby and my business was mine. So there are ways to use your time if you just commit to it. So that's number one. You have to commit, and you have to block out the time. Like block it out in your calendar. Know that Monday nights, that's your work night, and that's okay, and commit. The second thing is to focus and optimize your time. So it looks a lot like when you only have a couple of hours, sometimes you sit there and you're like, oh, what do I do next? Or what's the biggest thing that I need to be doing right now, and or you get to that time and you're like, oh, I just really don't feel at all like working right now. The trouble is, you still got to do it if you actually want to get your business off the ground. So when you focus, so that means knowing what tasks you need and have a running list. I used to keep a running list and write down how much time I thought each of those things would take for me, and even like prioritize them. So like need to do now, can wait, is when I have time project. And that way when I sat down, I knew what I needed to work on and about how much time I had. So then even if I had 5 minutes at work in between meetings, I could pop on and do a quick thing, because I wouldn't be able to get anything done at work in that time either. Or on my lunch break, I would use that to do research or writing or whatever. So really finding those pockets of time that you have and optimizing them. Another way that I optimize my time is to create a ritual to kind of get myself in the mood for writing or reading or doing business or whatever, right? So sorry, I'm like walking uphill now. So I would just do a couple of little things. Like I would pray, I would write in my journal, and then I would turn on like the same like music station on like Pandora. I think it was like movie scores. Hi, Priscilla. I can now see because the sun's not like glaring at my phone. So, so I would do that. And then it was like my brain could, boom, shift really quick into creation mode or work mode because I had triggered my mind to do those things. And I already had my list, so I wasn't grasping at straws, trying to figure out what to do. So that's funny. Allison, yeah, I did. And that kind of depends on your company rules. A lot of us, we had laptops, and so and a lot of us use them for personal things as well as professional ones. So it wasn't as big of a stickler thing at my particular job. That may differ for you and your company's resources. So just be aware of that. If that's uncomfortable, there was a time when I also brought my own laptop to work because when I had a desktop, because as I was a writer, a copywriter, so sometimes I would need to like get away from my desk to write. And so I would bring my own laptop. So that may be an option too. Or handwrite things, do things on an iPad or your phone, and use like Evernote or Google Docs or something like that so that you save your work everywhere that you go. So I focused and I optimized my time. 3 is find ways to jump over the hurdles or get clear action steps so that you don't waste time doing things you don't need to do. Yeah. And the way I did that, honestly, was through training. I got training to know what my most important things were. And I invested in courses and group programs because I didn't have a lot of time to devote to a coach. If you had asked me 2 years ago if I could commit to one-on-one coaching, I would have said, sorry, can't do that. I've got too many things. So, I made sure that I got the best tools around me in order to commit to building my business and skipping over some of those like problems and hurdles that other people had. So I did that through those group programs to have a little bit of time back into my schedule because then I could focus on what was absolutely necessary and optimize my time that way too. So I was able to skip some of the heartaches that other people had and able to jump forward. And that's exactly why I created BBA, Believers Business Academy too, because I see a lot of stuff out there about building your freedom-based business, and it's not true. It's not right. You can look at yesterday's video about the 3 lies about passive income that I hear all the time, and you can skip some of that stuff. It doesn't have to take forever. You just need specific things in your arsenal, right? Things that you need to know how to do and be building up to build your audience for that purpose. So that's what Believers Business Academy does, and it's not going to take all your time. I think the lessons are going to be less than half an hour, and that's per week. So you get 1 per week. I think it's going to be 30 to 40 minutes, if that. And it's going to really focus on that one thing and give you some specific actions you can take. And even those actions might take you another hour. So you've got 2 hours at most of things that you can work on and outline. And that way, when you sit down, you will have that roadmap, that guideline, so that when you sit down to do your work, you know what you should be working on every time you do it. As you build up your audience, as you build up your passive income audience and your freedom-based business while you're doing other things. Office hours are going to be twice a month, and those I'm going to kind of leave up to y'all as to when that time is, right? So I want to make sure, like if it's after work, if that's the best time for all of you guys in the evenings, that's when I'll be there for an hour to answer questions, because it's important that you get the help that you need specifically. And I don't want to take all of your time. I don't want to take all of your focus because I know that you have a lot. And that's partly why it's 6 months too, so that you can get it in short increments, specific actions, and build your business as you go. And know and be supported in that too. So definitely keep that in mind as you're doing this. It's not a huge time commitment, but is a specific one and will help you implement the right things so that you can focus and optimize your time. And there's even a week all about time management. So we'll go over some of those strategies that I used to manage all of my many things that I had going on, because I'm a serial overcommitter and overachiever. So I need to be excellent in all those things. So the way that I was able to put out great stuff, but do it in less time so I could still focus and enjoy the life around me. And so that's what BBA is all about. So I want you to go to kateboyd.me/BBA for Believers Business Academy and check it out. Look at everything, take a look around, get to know the program, and then be sure to hit me back with any questions you have, because I'm totally available to answer them. In fact, I left my week super open for that purpose. But it's this kind of structure, this kind of business that I built in 7 hours per month, essentially, that kept everything going and helped me get to a point where I'm bringing in a couple $1,000s in sales in a week while I'm on vacation, while I'm completely gone. So if you also haven't registered for the webinar tomorrow, make sure that you do that. I'll drop both of the links below so that you have that available to you. And in there, I'll be sharing more about these strategies and structures that you need in your business and life in order to create your freedom-based business, so that you can work a little, make the life and the income and the impact that you want to make, but still have time to do those other things that you feel called to do, that you're passionate about, that you love. So it all needs to work together, because you're building one life, not a business and a life. You're building it together. So that's what we focus on BBA. So definitely hit me up there if you have questions. Totally available to answer. And yeah, I guess that's it. So I will talk to you later, because I'm about to walk up to my house and then I need to shower, and you can't be there for that. So, all right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.